Hi, it's Erica of Simply Craft and welcome to another Demo Plus. I created this page last month and I thought I would show you how I created the rusty background with the fresco finish paints. So just quickly I want to show you which sets I used. They are both the sets chosen by Seth Apter, limited edition ones. This one's got terracotta, mahogany, buff and midnight. And then this set here is key lime, smoked paprika, mud splat and green patina. So all of these colours together makes for some lovely rust and patina effects. So just to show you, there's a difference. We've got opaques, which are solid colours. We've got semi-opaques, which you can sometimes see the background behind, and then we've got translucents, which allow you to see what you've done underneath through. Obviously, acrylic paints are permanent once they're dry, so you can do some lovely layering techniques once you start using these translucents. So we're going to start. I'll get the colours out that I used, which terracotta, mahogany and midnight of that set, and then of this set I used that gorgeous, look if I can get it out, that gorgeous green patina and smoked paprika. And I think I might have used a bit of mud splat, but we'll put that to one side and see if we need it. So let's get started. Each time these are going to be different because, and that's the beauty of mixed media, you never quite know what you're going to get. First of all, I've already done this piece. It's just a piece of craft card, but it could really literally be any card you've got. And I have given it a coat of the mahogany first. I've done it first just to speed things up. Now I'm going to use my cheap chip brush, and I'm going to, the reason I'm using this is because it's rough and I don't want all my layers to be covered up, so it's a really handy brush to have because then you can build layers. So I'm going to start by putting out some terracotta on the side here. Hopefully you can see that. I shall pull it in a bit just in case it's not in shot. Terracotta, smoked paprika, and I'll put a little bit of the mud splat just to add some depth of colour. Oh, should always shake them, I always forget, because some of the colours stay mixed well and then other colours, they've got heavier pigments. You see that, and they just need a good shake just to mix them up. So we're ready to go. I've got my base colour, and now I'm just going to pick up some colours. Start with terracotta, and I like to put colours on horizontal and then vertical, and I think you get a nice blend by doing that. I also get a nice texture, and like you can see, I'm not putting it everywhere, just in places. Oh, can have fun and games chasing the paper around. So you can see, just not all over, but now you can start to already see a kind of rustiness happening. You could let paint dry and you could clean your brush, but I prefer not to clean this brush because then I'm just going to add more water to it and then I'm not going to get the purity of the colours. So I prefer to, if it gets too messy, I'll just got a wet wipe and a tissue and I'll dry it off. So just keep building the layers. Okay, so I've dried it and we've got some colour down now. I mean, you can leave at this stage, but you can always add more layers. That's a motto I live by. So now I'm going to use the monoprinting technique. So I've got my spare piece of card here and I'm going to paint onto here. So we take the card and we just paint. I might as well use up what I've got here to start with, just to get it out of the way. And then this first one, it's probably going to dry because it's a craft card and it sucks it all in. Then we're going to print on top. Yeah, and as I thought, you've got some but you've not got loads because this card is so absorbent, but we'll just build from that. So painting it down. This is great if you've got a painting out a piece of card and you want it to dry quickly. Just press it onto another piece of card and you've instantly got backgrounds forming. So there you can see you've got some lots of lovely texture going on there now. I mean, I love this. It's texture without there being any sort of depth of, you know, there's no depth in the paper, so you can put it in a book and it's not going to take up loads of space, if that makes sense. So that's our first colour. Let's go with some mahogany, seeing as that's lacking a bit now. And really, you can do this as many times as you want. I like to really build some layers on because then actually you do feel a texture forming. There comes to a point that you won't get any more on because the raised bits catch the colour, and there'll only be little bits to capture the colour, and then you can't really add any more. You just end up covering up what you've already done. Ooh, it's looking good. You can see you've got a lovely kind of finish going on there now. At some points I do like to dry it so you don't keep getting the same colours mixing. So I'll just dry that at this point and then I will just carry on with my layers. Right, so I'm getting to that point where I can feel the texture and it's almost starting to stop covering because, like I said, the bumps form and then it just catches on the bumps. So before it comes to a point where I can't add any more, I'm going to add the green patterner just in small places, because on this one I've used the text and on this one here, and I wanted to tie the background into the elements that I'm putting on, so I know I'm going to use it with this paint, so I'm just going to add a touch of that colour to make sure it ties in. So again, I'm putting this on to give that one a mix, putting it onto the sheet. Gorgeous colour, absolutely love it. Now, I don't want to mess it up. I can really do with a clean brush for this bit, but we'll see. Oh, not too bad. If I don't mess with it. Now, I just want a little touch of this. I've put too much on here, so I have to be really, really careful. So I don't put too much on. So I'm barely touching it because I don't want to cover. Oh, fabulous. See, I don't want to cover it. I just want to give it a little hint of the colour. And I'm just pushing it in places. You can see that's still on there a lot, but you can see where and the beauty is, because of that texture, and like I said, it won't take as much. It's given me a chance to not be too heavy-handed. So, really liking that. The final touch now, I'll keep this and I will use it for die cutting because I've got loads of lovely colour on there. It's nice and thick as well, so it'd be great for die cutting. So I'll put that to one side and let that dry. Okay, the very last thing I want to do is have a kind of frame to it. And for this, I'm using Midnight. Midnight over using black because it's still got the darkness, but it's less harsh than a black, which is like when I use Payne's Grey and how much I love using Payne's Grey. It's got a similar kind of effect. So we'll use, I'll probably put too much. Oh, let me put a bit back, save wasting it. It's a limited edition paint. I don't know when I'll next get it, so I don't like to waste it. Right, so I'm going to get myself a brush. Right, so I've got a brush. I'll use a soft brush for this now, and loads of water on that piece of paint that I've done. And then I'm going to paint it around the edges. You can see it gives a lovely finish. Just so matches these colours. And I'm trying to keep it wet because I'm going to get my fingers in and I'm going to blend. Let's get it, make sure it's wet. Get my fingers in and blend the edges in. I love this technique because it just makes sure there's enough there, and because the underside colours are all dry, I'm not damaging underneath, and I'm just adding where I need. But just using my finger just to make sure it's I mean, you could use your brush and just blend it out, but this is much more fun. And I've really started to get that kind of patination and age to this piece of card now because of that frame. I love getting my fingers dirty. Not too bad. I've been worse. And again, it's not all over, just again in a patchy way, you know. If you think of rust, it doesn't perfectly go just around the edges. So I think I'm happy with that. Put that in the water. Take this piece of card away so you can see it properly. And a quick dry. And there we go. There's the Rust Technique background. And thank you for watching.